All right, this is Daryl Mart with ApexInvesting.com. I appreciate you for joining me today about this presentation on the Ultimate Hedge. And on this one, we're going to dive into just some examples. And we'll do more on, Q&A webinars, things like that. But I wanted to, just go over just some different examples and put them up and bring up just some things that for screenshots I've taken, other people have sent me, for you to look at and consider and, just get your mind working a little bit. So the scanner is a great way to look at doing different contracts like this. Okay? There's a lot of different ways, of course, to trade these contracts. But just by itself, it can be, really, really helpful because it'll plot it out for you. And even if you're doing an underlying market, you can just go and grab like a touch bracket or something like that and look at, to see the winning, like where's the market at right now. That's this line, in case you don't know. So that's where the market currently is trading, the indicative there. And then, like this is a buy and this is a P&L, like profit, loss. And then this is if the price goes up, like profit made on this one or loss on this one. And then if the price goes down, then of course, we'll hear profit on this one going short or loss on it, of course, going up. So it's just a profit and loss graph with the price moving. Okay? And one thing I want you to see on this is, sometimes the spread's better, sometimes the hedge is better, sometimes the underline's better. But, this one, only has an hour left till expiration. So, but still, I think it's a great example. And it's also one of the things I wanted to point out to you is like end of day, last hour, 2 hours, whatever, you can sometimes find some great, once there could be some great moves. Two, you can find some great hedges. And, like looking at this contract over here, I mean, this has a lot of profit potential. Okay, it's right where the market is. Okay, it's actually better than even looking at the touch brackets. So you only have $24 risk. You can't get stopped out on the trade. And you can lower that risk even further by, say, selling this spread. So you could sell this spread right here. And again, what's your risk going to be? It's going to be your proximity in, the spread tick size there. So 9, it's 9 ticks. So basically you have a $9 risk on the trade. And you actually could make money if it went way against you. You could make money over here. It needs to move 8 ticks in your favor to really be profitable. But it could go against you and you could be profitable, right? It could go in your favor. Because if it goes against you and let's say it loses these $24, like it could actually start making money. So that's 24 ticks. Remember, the risk is the distance to proximity to break even. So in this case, if it went down 24 ticks, you'd start making money short. If it goes up 8 ticks, you start making money short, and you only have a risk of $9. And so this sort of could help answer that question I get sometimes of why wouldn't you just choose to buy the spread? Because if you look at this spread right here, that's 9970 to 1070, well, $8 risk, so pretty much the same thing as this one over here, $9 risk, right? And proximity 7 ticks, 8 ticks, okay, about the same. But if it goes down, how much can I make? Nothing. So for 1 tick, I can make money if it goes the other direction. But just give me up $1 more. And, I mean, 92 ticks would be a pretty insane move, but, if it moves further than that, I can still make money, $226. So this is a great example of why maybe you want to choose a spread, because you can't get stopped out. Choose a spread because it could go against you if you do the ultimate hedge versus just a spread. And you may only be like trading off $1 or so to do the trade. So really a pretty sweet trade all in all. And that's just, that's just doing the ultimate hedge. And so on that, like looking at this chart, like that would be the trade I would choose because I'm going to have low proximity, low risk, proximity being $8 because we reverse them, right? Low risk, $9. I can make direct money in both directions. I'm only giving up $1. $2 ticks in, proximity. Like, yeah, let's do it. So I can look over here. I can look at, looking at this touch bracket. Here's just another example for you. And this one, I mean, doesn't look that bad at all. Not as good as the one we looked at earlier. But just, I go in this touch bracket. Now, again, I have spreads that could be better for me in this case because I won't be stopped out. And they trade, look at the proximity and premium. They're so close. But what's the problem with the spreads? Well, they don't trade between 3 and 6. So this thing's going to, go till 5. The touch brackets go till 5 o'clock. So I can trail my trade longer. Okay, so if it goes in my favor, I can trail it. And, I have to wait till 6 o'clock to open another spread up. So that could be a big benefit right here. It's going to, if I did this trade, well, if I bought it $99.74 and sold it $99.58, $68.78, so $26 or $16, whatever. Yeah, maybe a little bit less than that in risk. So 74 and 58, yeah, pretty much right at that. Yeah, $16. So if I bought it $99.74 and I sold it $99.58, that's $16 in risk, right? And here's the cool thing is only being 2 ticks in risk on the spread. Guess what? I only have to move 2 ticks in my favor. I start making money. So there is a reason why using that lower risk one may be worth it. Only $2 in my favor, I start making money. I remember my risk is my proximity. Okay? Now, I was clicking these sort of quick, but one thing I want you to notice is if I had the choice between these 2 spreads, which one would I choose? Okay? So I could choose this one because it will give me a much larger hedge. But notice I got 10 more ticks of risk in the trade. Okay? So I like the lower risk and only 2 ticks proximity. So I'm probably going to go with lower, remember, reversing proximity and risk there. But probably going to go with the one that has the lower risk proximity, the hedge proximity. Because I get to sell it higher on the trade. Now, remember, if you're doing these touch brackets, okay, you want to have some room. Like, why didn't I choose the $50 risk touch bracket? Well, I could have, and it had more reward potential, okay? But again, a new touch bracket always comes out when the other one gets hit. So reward potential isn't going to be my main reason for choosing a touch bracket when I'm hedging it off. And this is really important. Reward is not always going to be my main reason for choosing a touch bracket when I'm hedging it off. Okay? Because if it moves 50 against me, I'm out. Now, I may have been hedged with my spread, but I'm still out. Okay? This one gives me more room for it to go against me. This 100 pip one. Okay? So, why would I want to look more? Because remember, I'm fully hedged over here. Right? I mean, up to the point of, I have the same risk on both of these trades, but this one can get stopped out if it moves 50 ticks against me instantly. So I may not always want the lowest risk touch bracket contract. Now, 50 may be, plenty of room on dollar franc, but maybe on another market it's not, or maybe it's only 15 or something like that, or 20. So, and I might go, well, you know what? I could do a 15 tick proximity with a $2 risk, or $5 risk, or $10 risk trade. And I may want that larger move. Now, if I get stopped out, I could keep going in my favor, but then, of course, I can just take it short. Right? So, my real goal is to be long here, and if it goes against me, to be hedged. And I don't have to worry about 2 accounts. Because I got a touch bracket long and a short spread. Or if I had a long, master spread or spread, a short spread. So, there's a lot of ways I can look at doing this, but like I said, be creative. And think outside the box. Don't just go, oh, low risk, I want that one. Well, I have $188 in protection. I don't care about the risk. Like, literally, I don't care about the risk. What I care about is not being stopped out of the trade. That's why I'm putting on a hedge. Right? Of course, you can always go over here and you can look at this contract. And now, of course, prices are moving as I'm taking all these and all that. But, $12 risk on this example. Okay? Has $1 proximity. So again, 1 tick is going to start making money. I'm only going to lose $12 on it. Can make $188. That may be perfectly sufficient for what I'm wanting to do. And maybe I don't need to put on a hedge. Maybe just the spread alone will be enough. Now, if it goes against me, I'm losing all $12. $12 isn't a lot. But only an hour, dollar franc in a day. 12 ticks is still a decent amount to have to move. Or it actually doesn't have to move 12. It could just move 1. I'd be break even. But it's not a bad trade. So sometimes the answer is not a hedge. Sometimes the answer is doing, just a spread by itself. And I want to keep that idea open to you because I want you to look at your possibilities, your options. Let's look at this one, the S&P 500. And there may be better examples. I'm just sort of, picking some examples and trying to highlight pieces to you. Okay. So look at this. This is like where there's not really like a fantastic hedge available for me, right? And so if I'm looking at all these, I'm like, well, man, the proximity is pretty big. I'm not really going for positive premium because there's not a lot of reward, which means it's not going to give me a good hedge on my long. My goal here is to go long, and I want to be able to cover my risk. And so I may go over here and go, let's see, I got this one. This one, they have about the same reward potential. They're both the same, but this one's 8 points lower. I want to sell high. And this one is about the same price as that one, but it has another $100 in reward or hedge potential. And a really prop potential if it really busted through and went short. So that would be like my short pick, and notice that brings my risk a lot lower. 26.32, 26.29. I have like about 3 points of risk in that trade. So that's not bad at all. 3-point risk. Now, one thing I got to think about. Okay? Is, remember, my proximity, my risk is small. 10, 12 ticks, right? But look at the risk, which again is proximity if you're doing a hedge, right? So my hedge went over here, 109, so that's 10 points. It's going to have to move for me to make anything. So I'm sort of locking in the 3-point loss unless the market moves 10 points in my favor. That may be good. That may not be good. Okay, now we've had days where the market's moving 30 points, 40 points, so that could actually be a good thing. But, just be aware of that. It's going to have to move further when you get this higher risk, which really, in your case, is higher proximity because you got to overcome that. Okay? So even if that was an underlying market, it really, if you're doing ES, it'd work the same way. Okay, I'm just throwing the touch bracket on there for that example. Now, you may choose to go down and do this ES. Maybe you do this one because you want a larger stop on the trade. So you choose the 26.12 to 26.62 because it has a 20-point stop versus a 10-point. Every $10 being a point. So you may like this one better as a touch bracket. That one has 30. So it could go all the way down to 26.02, and this thing covers you to 2600. Okay? So those are things that you can consider, because you don't want to get stopped out if it goes 10 points against you. Cool. Okay, let's do 20 or 30 points against us, but let's have a hedge that goes 29 points in our favor. Just remember that premium will start to stack up some, depending on how much time you have till expiration. It's not bad on this one, especially being, only a couple hours left. So, but, and we could easily have a 10-point move in the last hour or two of the day. Or 20-point move or 30-point move or whatever. So, anyways, just another one for you to look at. And then, another example. This one is deeper, like I talked about just a second ago. So, in this one, the touch is further down. Okay? Not really had to put up any more money. I got to put about $100 in money put up, but I'm not risking $200. Okay? And remember that. I'm not risking that. I'm risking this between what I'm buying and what I'm selling. So in this case, $33. Okay? So which comes out to, about whatever. But $33, which comes out to about 12 ticks of underlying. But that's what my risk is on the trade. Even though it says $200, because I'm making dollar for dollar as this thing goes down against me. Okay? Especially once it hits the price where I'm sold at $26.29. And, now, it will slow down a little bit, but remember, what is it going to do? It's going to speed up all the way to the center. So I like that, because that means that I'm really going to get my full hedge before this touch bracket gets knocked out. So that's a pretty cool benefit right there of using this bigger contract, and this larger one right here is it has to move a good chunk against me. I mean, we're talking, a decent move. And, 10 points, but again, 10 points isn't a lot right now on the S&P. Now, that could be a lot in 2 months if you're watching this video, but right now, that's not a lot. So that, using those touch brackets, do that. And you think about it, same thing with the S&P 500 future. You're buying that contract. Of course, it goes down all the way, so you got to be out by here. And you're going to get your maximum hedge at the middle, and then, of course, as you get closer to expiration, that middle will get bigger and bigger and bigger, where it gives you the maximum hedge. Here's another example for you. Okay, this is using the one with the even bigger one. And this is basically $195. That's like going for 19 points of profit. You're going to give up the first 10 because, again, that's your proximity. But your risk is only the difference between the two. So your risk is still only 3 points. but your chances of getting stopped out of this touch bracket are really small. And there's another one as well that you could go to. So, and again, remember, if it hits the maximum profit, there's nothing that stops you from not hopping in that additional touch bracket that's going to pop up the second it's hit. Okay? So, you may end up throwing on another hedge to protect it as well. We got crude oil right here. So, these are, let's see here. On crude oil, we're going on. Got a long and got a short over here. And so this crude oil right here, we got $13 of risk on the trade. Okay. Now, this is a 1 hour hedge with a 4 hour contract. And it only has to move 20 cents in my favor. And oil moves fast. So 20 cents is no big deal. Moves 20 cents in my favor, I start trailing it on up. Okay. And what am I using? I'm using, one of the larger spreads. I could even use a bigger one if I wanted to. So in this case, I'm like, I might just go with that one. But if I want the maximum movement, I can go with that 294, 206. What I really love about this combination is it does give me a full hedge all the way down. Right there. This one wouldn't give me a full hedge on this contract. So, there's another one, but that one has 73. So you don't want, that's $73 risk, $13 risk, or $130 if I was doing, oil and 10 spreads. So not a bad risk at all. And shows you just a good example on oil. Another oil example here. This one's, the hedge is a little bit in the spread versus out of the spread on it. And so if I went in on this hedge, then this one has 3 hours and 53 minutes left. So I got 4 hours on this trade. And I can go in and I'm buying here, selling here. I have $14 risk on the trade. I have to move about 40 cents in my favor. Again, oil can move a couple bucks, but only $14 risk. And I can't be stopped out of the trade because I used a spread, right? And I can even use larger spreads if I wanted to, like this 278, 222, and I'd still be fully covered. Maybe, except for $18. So just about fully covered. Actually, I would be $58.50. So yeah, I'd actually have a full cover on this. That's just bid offer, which doesn't count at expiration. So I get full coverage, $14 risk. And if it goes way against me and I'm just wrong, well, then I can actually still make money. Looking over here at the pound yen. On the pound yen, on this trade, I can go in 149.31, sell at 149.23. So, $6-7 of risk there. 17 tick proximity. Not a bad trade. So again, I'm just hopping over. I'm like, okay, there's my risk. There's my distance to break even. And so I'll just click these and match them up and look at them. And now you can just look at the number that you like and then make sure there's some profit there. And then, so you want a combination of both low proximity and low risk. If you can, the lower of these two numbers, the better. Because that means the faster you start making money and the less money you put at risk when you combine it with a spread or a touch bracket or, spot effects or future. Gold. So got this contract right here, $9 risk, 26 ticks proximity. Gives me a hedge for 2 hours. I got 4 hours for my trade. Yeah, that's fantastic. Pound yen, here's another one here. Trading with now that one's a 21 tick risk. 8 ticks to break even. But, that's better than any of these trades. $50 risk, $7 risk, but 54 ticks proximity. So it actually is the best trade combination. It's better than doing just a spread. I could look at this one, which has about the same amount of risk and actually the same amount of proximity. So I could just do that spread, or I could do these two together. So they come out to about the same. Let's see here. Another crude oil example. And we can just keep going and going and going on these. So I'll say some of these for, our webinar where I can pull up more examples and go through them with you. But, just start looking at them. Start making combinations. Start sharing them in the Skype room. And going, hey, this looks like the best one to me. What do y'all think? Whatever. Maybe a spread's the best one. Maybe you want that ability to make money if it goes up or down. There's a lot of different reasons. Like I said, you can combine them together. So definitely start playing with these different examples and have fun with it. And again, share, because by sharing these and asking and seeing what other people think and highlighting and stuff, that's where you're going to learn the most. Okay, you're going to learn more from doing that than you are just from sitting there on your own little island. You'll learn more in our Skype room sharing these than you will anywhere else. So I hope y'all have got a few new insights and hope you want to learn some more. And like I said, we'll dive into it more on the webinar next week, but this will get you going. And I'll see you then. And I'll put the webinar up recording as if you watch this after the webinar. All right. Thank you very much. Again, this is Daryl Martin with ApexInvesting.com.